man allegedly tried to take a baby from his mother's arms. The whole thing caught on camera. News Nation's Kelly Beeson is live in our newsroom with more on this, Kelly.
Yeah, so 19-year-old Anthony McGee, Nicole, he's in jail after going on this violent rampage in St. Louis Sunday morning. And we have the surveillance video. It shows him in a gray hoodie approach a mother crossing the street and attempting to snatch her infant daughter out of her arms. Now, the woman's husband was able to fend him off, you can see.
So there was a report recently about a young man named Anthony McGee who attempted to snatch a baby out of his mother's arms. What are the details to that story?
Yes, 19-year-old Anthony McGee was caught on camera essentially trying to kidnap someone's baby right out of their arms in broad daylight. Luckily, the father was there to, fight him off. But, the fact that it was attempted, and he, pretty much before then, he smashed a bottle on a 42-year-old woman's head. Tries to take the baby, and once that doesn't work out, he bumps into an 81-year-old woman. She ends up breaking both of her arms, and he essentially strangles her to that point.
Wow, these are such out in the open criminal acts going on right now. Was there something reported about this young man? Did they say if he's got a previous criminal history? Is there some mental health issues? What was going on?
So nothing was reported as far as his motivations or why he did what he did. But we do know that 2 weeks prior he was charged with a misdemeanor for hitting a woman and spitting on a police officer. That's all we know.
Wow. This leads us to some questions, of course, right, that you have that we can discuss right here about this situation. What would you like to talk to our audience about today?
So, in America, we've been seeing a lot of these just random crimes happening in broad daylight. Why do you think that is?
There have been reports when you start researching these things out, and there's reports that people still are, giving credit to COVID. Well, COVID came and went. I mean, I realize that we still have cases of COVID, but it was, attributed to shutdowns and the restriction of people. And while I certainly think that that may have played a part, I just think that there's just a rise in mental health. I don't think it just has to do with COVID, though. I think social media plays a part. I mean, you and I have read the studies of how social media affects people in a very negative way. The more you use social media, the more the effects on your mental health, right?
Yeah.
We especially see it with younger generations, but it doesn't mean that it can't affect. Now, this young man was 19 years old, so he's in that generation of the younger people.
Yeah, he is.
So these are some of the issues we're dealing with today. Were there any follow-up stories to him? Do we know what's going to happen, or we're just kind of waiting and see?
Yes, he was charged with 6 different counts of crimes for what he did just on that one day. That's all we know.
Wow. Well, we really have to pay attention to what's going on in our society. And one of the ways that I really believe that we can do this is by being informed. You have to do research, get informed, but get informed in a healthy way, in a way that brings in information from various resources, right? We can't just use one type of resource and say, see, this is it. Because the truth is that there are usually 2 sides wanting to pull you into their own ideology. So let's do some good resourcing, good information seeking, and I think that we can bring some solutions to America.
Yeah, so how would we go about doing that?
Well, definitely, like I mentioned before, you want to do wise research. What I try to do is, when I see a story, I try to take both types of media information. So I may look at a conservative resource, and I'll look actually at a liberal resource to see what are the stories that are being told. Are there any similarities? Are either sides leaving out information that's important for me as an American who needs to make a decision? This is where America gets brains, where we learn to do our own research. We're not just like, oh, I'm a Fox fanatic, or I'm a CNN fanatic, or what have you, or even organizations that exist, like for the American the American Psychological Association. That's good, but they're not the only ones that can put out information. Like, you've got to look at different sources and look, what is their drive? What is their drive for providing the information? What is their agenda? Most people, organizations, reporting, media has an agenda.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So we just have to learn to make wise decisions in our learning and make decisions for ourselves. Well, I can't wait to hear what happens with this young man. I hope that he gets some help out there. There's too much of this going on, as you said, in broad daylight. So hopefully we'll hear some good news about this.